Hello, this is Urot, and this is my response to the Q&A section. Um, I got the email with the questions, but I purposely didn't read it until this recording so that it can be fair to all the other candidates who got the questions and then had to answer immediately. So,
Yeah.
oh, excuse me. Okay. So, first question. How has our culture personally spoken to you, and how did that inspire you to run for this position? Kind of like I said in my speech, the thing that inspired me most about our culture is our richness and our diversity in the history of our culture, whether it be the history of colonialization, the history of interactions via trade with other countries, just the diversity of every aspect of our culture, basically, music, food, art, um, all of the above. Just the richness of it inspires me, and it inspires me to run for this position because so much of it is not addressed in modern media or like the narrative of today. So I'd say I want this position because I feel like it can allow me to share these stories that go unspoken of. Two, there are so many different ways to explore and dive into culture. What is your favorite way or ways do you engage with culture, and how do you plan on sharing that, or what aspect do you want to share with membership? Um, so this semester, pretty soon, actually next week, we are going to be hosting the Cultural Relations Committee, and I we're going to be hosting the PMA workshop, and that's honestly one of my favorite aspects of our history, just because people, even especially in the motherland, don't even know that we have our own martial arts, and not only is it such an impressive martial arts, it's literally used in almost every single action movie you've seen. So the fact that it's so popular but so unacknowledged or unrecognized, it's just um, it almost angers me because it we deserve to be proud of it, and because people don't know it, they just, I don't know, it's just like a missing sense of pride that people can latch onto in a way. So I would say learning about specifically our PMA culture um, is one way I like to interact with our culture. And in terms of how to do the membership, or how to incorporate this into my membership, I'd like to do more events related to or educating our community and our members on aspects such as PMA. Third question. A diverse community of cultural representation is often celebrated during specific events or heritage months, but true cultural understanding requires ongoing engagements, dialogue, and collaboration. As Cultural Relations Director, how would you ensure that cultural appreciation goes beyond surface level celebrations and foster deeper connections, understandings, and solidarity among different communities on and off campus? Um, I would say it's just collaborating with other organizations, whether it be YPSB, whether it be I know there were other people. There's this one event. It was the Phil Lam versus Pam event. I believe I got that right. I forgot the name of it, but it's simply collaborating with other organizations and people to receive their insight to make sure that our narrative is not just one that we came up with online, that people who have firsthand experience or have a deeper knowledge behind the experiences or stories I hope to share. Um, we want it to be more of a dialogue than just like a lecture when it comes to our workshops or our like educational events. So it definitely had to be a collaboration to show that there's a deeper connection, and um, it would help deepen the connection not only for us as a Kasamahan community, but the people who we collaborate with. Um, When we choose to identify with culture, we can't be selective about it. I was wondering what that means to you all. To not be selective about it, I think it's to acknowledge that there are definitely negative aspects of our culture. So I guess, although I say there's a lot of pride to be held within our culture and our community, there's also a lot of issues and stereotypes that are upheld by our own people. One would probably be, from the top of my mind, how I don't mean to offend, but like how some Filipino girlfriends can be like very toxic or very feisty, or like Filipino parents are very strict, very loud, and they never apologize. Things like that are issues that we perpetuate just because we think it's just a matter of being Filipino, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong. So acknowledging both the good and the bad aspects of our culture and the behaviors tied to our culture need to be acknowledged by us, and we need to understand that we don't need to tie negative behaviors to our culture to a point where we perpetuate negativity. So that's how I would answer that. As CRD, you will have a committee. Do you have any ideas as to how you will work with your committee and hold a space where you and others can learn, appreciate, and share Filipino and Filipino American culture? I would like to take some. Was influence from the previous or the current director Ella, in which we will spend the first couple meetings, either in the beginning of the semester or as early as we can, just to brainstorm ideas and goals of what we want to do, what we strive for. Because one of the things I love the most about being on Cultural Relations Committee is that we are working on events that we ourselves are passionate about, and I really respected that Ella gave us this opportunity to do that. So I would like to do the same for my committee, and we would hold frequent events. I don't want it to be a steady, constant, weekly meetings, anything of that sort, but it would be in accordance with everyone's schedules. I'd send out when to meet fairly often, and we keep each other posted. Lastly, upholding Kasamahan's cultural pillar means embracing the complexity and nuances of Filipino identity, which could be challenging. So how do you plan to approach the tensions or difficulties that come up in this organization while staying grounded in your values and staying open to all aspects of the culture? What I would say is that when it comes to embracing the complexity of our culture, it means facing the ugliness of it, because it's so easy to be prideful of our culture and our achievements, but it's just as necessary to understand that there are a lot of issues, and for example, the politics surrounding the Philippines today. So I would just say it's necessary to acknowledge these things and to not get in our heads about the beauty of our culture, I would say. And it would be to keep ourselves humble in the sense that that we need to understand that the historical figures and the political figures surrounding our country, they're human just like us. And so if anything on the news is we believe is shedding a bad light on the Philippines as a whole, or Filipino people, we just have to accept it. I don't really know if there's any other way to explain it except for as bluntly as that. But those are all the questions. I apologize if I come off as ranting. I really wanted this to be raw firsthand. Even though I could have thought of the responses beforehand, I wanted this to be the raw dialogue. So thank you.